Have you ever noticed that some of the kindest people you know are also some of the most tired? The ones who always show up, who offer a smile even when their own world feels heavy. The ones whose instinctive answer is always yes when someone needs help. But if you look closely, if you really pay attention, you can often see a subtle exhaustion behind their eyes. A sense that somewhere behind that constant generosity is something deeper, something heavier, maybe even something darker. This feeling often comes with a quiet, private fear. The fear that there's a monster hiding inside of you, composed of your resentment, your exhaustion, maybe even your anger. We worry that this hidden part of us makes us secretly unkind. But what if that isn't the monster at all? What if the real monster is something you've been taught to see as a virtue? Stay with me on this journey, because by the end of this video, we are going to unmask what this monster truly is. And understanding its real identity may be the single most important step toward reclaiming your peace without losing your compassionate heart. This is the kindness that breaks you. We are taught to see kindness as a pure, uncomplicated good, a virtue we should all strive for. We measure our own humanity by how much compassion we can extend to others. But kindness, like everything in our complex inner worlds, has a shadow. And when you ignore that shadow, when you perform kindness out of a script you didn't realize you were given, the virtue itself can begin to turn into a quiet form of self-destruction. It almost always starts in childhood. A child learns through 1,000 tiny interactions that being agreeable earns them love. When they set aside their own needs to make a parent happy, they are met with smiles. When they don't cause trouble, they are praised. When they are helpful and accommodating, they receive the affection they so deeply crave. Over time, this pattern, agreeableness equals safety, self-sacrifice equals worthiness, buries itself deep within the nervous system. Kindness stops being a choice and becomes a survival strategy. And as that child grows older, it becomes harder and harder to separate who they are from what others need them to be. They become the reliable one, the good person, the friend who never complains. But here is the difficult truth. When kindness is not a choice, but a compulsion, and driven by a deep-seated fear of rejection or a desperate need to be valued, it is no longer pure kindness. It becomes a mask. And any mask, when worn for too long, begins to suffocate the person hidden beneath it. Think about the people in your life who are endlessly kind. Perhaps you are one of them. They'll listen to your problems for hours, even when they're emotionally spent. They'll help you move on their only day off. They'll sacrifice their own rest, their own peace, just to ensure you're okay. On the surface, it looks saintly, but if you have ever lived that role, you know the quiet cost. Behind many acts of compulsory self-sacrifice, there is a silent resentment, a tiny voice that whispers, "But what about me?" That voice is almost always silenced because chronic kindness operates under an unspoken, ruthless rule: you are not allowed to put yourself first. Psychologists have a name for the endpoint of this pattern: compassion fatigue. It's a state of profound emotional and physical exhaustion caused by overexposure to the stress of others. While it's often discussed in caring professions like healthcare and teaching, it's not limited to them. It is a profound risk for any person who identifies as a kind soul, but lacks the tools for self-preservation. Studies consistently show that people who chronically prioritize others over themselves report higher levels of anxiety, depression, and even physical illness. Kindness, when it is unchecked by boundaries, becomes self-eraser. It's like a gardener who waters every single plant in the garden with meticulous care, but forgets to water their own roots. Eventually, the gardener collapses, and the whole garden withers with them. But here is the more unsettling part. Sometimes this performative kindness becomes a weapon turned against the self. When you are known as the kind one, people begin to expect it. They rely on it. They build their own behaviors around your predictability. Without even realizing it, your constant accommodation teaches others that your needs are secondary, that your feelings are negotiable. Over time, people may stop even asking what you want because they assume you will simply adjust to them. This creates a devastating paradox. The kinder you are, the more invisible you become. And that invisibility is not peace. It is loneliness dressed up in politeness. Now, this does not mean kindness is flawed. Far from it. Genuine kindness, flowing from a place of abundance and choice, is one of the most healing forces on earth. But there is a universe of difference between kindness that flows from a full well and kindness that bleeds from an empty one. One comes from love, the other from fear. Research from the University of Berkeley confirms this. Studies on altruism show that giving to others significantly increases well-being and happiness, but only when the act is voluntary and authentic. When kindness is performed out of guilt, obligation, or a fear of disappointing others, it has the opposite effect. It actively lowers happiness and increases stress. And yet so many of us are caught in this trap. We say yes because we don't want to be seen as selfish. We keep giving because we don't want to lose someone's approval. We keep sacrificing because we believe love is something we must earn over and over again. But the cost of this performance is our own sense of self. Slowly you forget what you even like, what you want, what you need. Your entire identity has been built around serving the needs of others. You become a stranger in your own skin. And this is where the monster comes in. Because when you suppress your needs, when you swallow your anger, when you bury your disappointment in the name of being kind, those emotions do not disappear. They collect in the shadows of your psyche. They curdle, they ferment, and eventually they come out in ways you can't control. Maybe it's a sudden, sharp anger at a loved one over something trivial. Maybe it's a constant, low-level irritation. Maybe it's passive-aggressive comments that leak out sideways. Or maybe it's years of repressed feeling exploding all at once, leaving you shocked at the rage you held inside. We want to believe that kindness protects us from our own darkness. But in reality, kindness without honesty creates the perfect breeding ground for it. Because every time you say yes when your body is screaming no, every time you smile when you feel like crying, every time you hold back your truth to make someone else comfortable, you are performing an act of self-abandonment. And abandonment always has consequences. So let's pause and reflect here, together. If any of this resonates, the exhaustion, the resentment, the feeling of being invisible, even though everyone calls you so kind, I want you to hear this. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not a bad person for feeling this way. What you are experiencing is the natural, predictable consequence of trying to survive in a world that praises self-neglect as a virtue. It's the monster within showing up not because you are monstrous, but because your unexpressed truths are demanding to be seen. This brings us to the real question. How do we embrace kindness without letting it destroy us? How do we hold on to our compassion without becoming martyrs? The answer lies in one simple, but for many deeply uncomfortable truth. Real kindness must begin with yourself. Not in a selfish, I disregard everyone kind of way, but in the fundamental understanding that if your circle of compassion does not include you, it is incomplete. It is a performance. And all performances eventually end. Think of the safety instructions on an airplane. In case of a drop in cabin pressure, put on your own oxygen mask first before assisting others. At first, this advice feels wrong, doesn't it? Unnatural. Your instinct is to help your child, your partner, the person next to you. But the logic is flawless. If you pass out from a lack of oxygen, you are of no help to anyone. This exact principle applies to emotional and psychological life. If you are running on empty, suffocating from a lack of rest, peace, and self-regard, your ability to genuinely care for others will eventually run out. This is where boundaries come in. For so many kind people, the word boundary feels terrifying. It feels like rejection, it feels like conflict, it feels selfish. But this is a misunderstanding. A boundary is not a wall you build to shut people out. A boundary is the purest form of honesty. It is the invisible line that defines where you end and another person begins. A boundary says, I love you, but this is what I can give right now. It says, my care for you is real, but it becomes resentment if I am empty. It says, I respect you enough and myself enough to show you my limits. In fact, research shows that people who set healthy boundaries often experience deeper, more authentic relationships. Why? Because their kindness comes from a place of choice, not compulsion. When they say yes, you know they truly mean it. Their kindness is authentic, and authenticity is magnetic. Let's be clear, this journey isn't easy. When you start setting boundaries, you are not just saying no to others. You are saying yes to yourself. And if you've spent a lifetime equating your worth with selflessness, that yes will feel foreign, even wrong. You might even lose some relationships. Some people who benefited from your lack of boundaries won't like the new rules. They may push back. They may call you selfish. And while that is painful, it is also a necessary filter. It reveals which relationships were built on mutual respect and which were built on the expectation of your endless giving. So how can you begin to practice this? To shift from a kindness that depletes to a kindness that liberates? Here are 5 practices, not as quick fixes, but as lifelong invitations. First, practice the pause. When someone asks something of you, your automatic yes is a conditioned reflex. Interrupt it. Take one deep breath. Buy yourself a few seconds by saying, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." In that pause, want to ask yourself, do I have the energy for this? Do I truly want to do this? Or am I just afraid of saying no? Second, learn the gentle no. A no does not have to be a confrontation. It can be delivered with compassion. That sounds like a wonderful project, but I don't have the capacity to join right now. Or, I care about you deeply, but I can't offer that kind of support at this moment. The world will not fall apart, and your yes, when it comes, will mean so much more. Third, reframe your worth. Your value as a human being is not determined by your utility to others. It is intrinsic. You were worthy before you learned to perform kindness to survive. You are worthy when you rest. You are worthy when you say no. You are worthy, full stop. Fourth, tend to your own garden. When you are filled with abundance, kindness becomes a genuine overflow, not a painful transaction. Fifth, listen to your hard emotions, your anger, your sadness, your frustration. These are not enemies of kindness. They are data. They are signals that a boundary has been crossed or that a need is being ignored. Listen to them. They are your loyal guides pointing you back toward balance. For so many of us, kindness has been a lifelong mask. The smile we wear to cover our exhaustion, the yes we say to avoid conflict, the generosity we perform to prove our worth. But masks are heavy. The real journey isn't to become less kind. It's to finally take off the mask and let kindness come from your real face. The face that can say yes and no with equal honesty. The face that is kind without disappearing. The next time someone tells you that you're so kind, pause. Ask yourself an honest question. Is this kindness coming from fear or from freedom? From a place of exhaustion or a place of abundance? From the mask or from the real me? The answer will tell you more about yourself than any compliment ever could. Because the dark side of kindness isn't your anger or your limits or your boundaries. The real monster has always been self-neglect. And once you turn to face it, once you decide to be kind to yourself, you will discover that your capacity for genuine compassion doesn't disappear. It only grows stronger, sharper, and more radiant. It becomes the kind of kindness that doesn't just keep others alive, but finally, and allows you to live too. Thank you for exploring this with me today. This channel is a space dedicated to these deeper understandings. If you'd like to continue the journey, I invite you to subscribe. Perhaps one of the most powerful practices from this video is learning the gentle no. If that's something you're working on, I'd be honored to hear about your experience in the comments. I've also linked a video here that delves further into authenticity. As always, thank you for your time and your introspection. Be kind to yourself.